Okay, how come we're on? 4 minutes until we start. Can you hear me, Håkon? Very good. Okay. All right, 1 minute. Almost there. We start on the dot. And it's time. We're loading the new map, and we're playing as Germany against Tsarist Russia. And my name is Balton Albertsson, and today with me is Håkon, our technical artist.
Hello.
And the puppy, Luna. Is anybody watching the show?
Yes, there are 7. And a bunch of them are said hello.
Hello. How are we today? So, because we're making a game, which is work in progress, I might have to get rid of some of these fences because they might mess up with the AI and it will start running in front of the enemy machine gunners. And this is a typical thing while you're developing a game. So let's just, while we wait for people to come in.
Oh, 20. Okay.
And how are people feeling?
Someone was asking if you're Danish, because they are Danish.
I am not Danish, but I did learn Danish as a child. The last time I had to use Danish was when I was on the east coast of Greenland, and we were stuck after 10 days on an expedition, and nobody could help us. So that was somehow I managed to remember the Danish I learned from the age of 8 until 15, which is a long time. But that was the time when Icelanders believed we should all be learning Danish. And yeah, it's I'm actually proud of that. I could actually speak Danish to a degree, and save my ass in the wild vastness of Antarctica in Greenland. Not Antarctica, Arctic, of course. All right, how many are now in the channel?
22.
Okay. Whoops. That's never happened before.
No, that's happened.
How come? Look,
Well, not on YouTube.
it's like falling on the edge of the world.
Oh yeah, the edge of the world.
Let's not do that. So welcome everyone. Those that watched the last video, I have now a thing. I'm trying not to say the SO word as often as possible. I'm trying to practice not being a native English speaker. But don't say it. In this video demonstration, this live stream, we're going to talk about the new map, which we've based on Darkamen, which was a part of the Battle of the Masuria Lakes early in World War I. And we're going to go through a little bit about the level design, and also going to set down the first defense line. But just to be completely frank, the wave system when it makes the enemy AI attack is not working at the moment, so there will be plenty of danger, but nobody will be trying to attack us. So I designed the map, so I'm going to try and imagine I've never played this before. So we're starting here, early morning, we have 63 men. Here is Bernd the Dumla, and he is our officer. He's a career soldier, which is probably good, but he has a bad temper, so that's not perfect. But you know, he's probably a standout guy. And now these guys are just waiting for our commands. And they've come over here. So the first thing we're going to do, this is like Eastern Prussia in 1914. So on the right, we have the Birkenhof farm. And this is like a family used to live here, and they made their living of basically planting trees. So this is like a young forest over here. And this is their land. And they also have the Lagerhaus over here, which is like a storage area. So we're going to start claiming this area and build the defense line. We're going to send these guys, because they're not doing anything, send them right now. And we're going to take the Birkenhof, because we need somewhere to sleep. Because like, how many played the demo in the channel? How many? Raise your hand. Who played the demo? Nobody played the demo? Okay. Oh, that was close. Okay, careful. Okay. Right, so what we've been doing,
You
we're
have to be
gonna...
aware of the delay. 5 to 10 second delay,
So,
depending on where you are.
this is the old system when we basically place down each bed, and this is obviously not very user-friendly, because if you don't want to place 63 of these down, right? So we're going to devise a new system that essentially you will just turn this into like a zone, and the AI will know that in the game, and they will go there and pop down a magical bed and start sleeping. So, because this is obviously would be fine, it'll be only like 4 to 10 characters in the game, but not great in this game. But of course, the officers, you can make their own little quarters and tents and houses, commandeer a French villa or chateau if you like. And those that played the demo also know I talked a lot about trying to, well, space things out. Don't put everything in the same spot. So we're going to start putting down storage zones while we research. Speaking of, I need to research, because we're going to be doing a lot of trenches. But trenches were not the main thing on the Eastern Front. There are a lot of spaces and areas in the Eastern Front that do not support trenches, and even some of them will not allow trenches, or only allow shallow trenches. And over here, we're still in quite firm land here, but over here we have the Dead Man's Copse, which is the Russian front line, and the enemy front lines, and this is all quite dangerous. And because this is like a new map, so imagine if you're playing it, so I said so. How come? Why didn't you stop me? Right, apologize for that one. Let's start checking out the environment by placing little sentries. And careful now, because though the enemy will not be sending waving attacks, they will shoot at us. And now we reveal, and we have this like wetland area, marshes. This slows down the men, and this is not possible to build on. Okay. And let's continue, because here we have the enemy front line. We also have a thing called the milk rump. And I hope you're all impressed by my German pronunciation. The milk rump is basically like a depot for milk for the local farmers. So let's place one guy over here as we move around. And then we can start thinking about where we're going to start building the defense line, because we need to kind of cover this whole area. And then we can start advancing, because first consolidate, defend, dig in, and then you can start attacking. And I can tell you over here, there's like a very minimum Russian defenses without trenches. Basically, they are in the terrain itself. All right. Let's put these guys to work as well. Let's hurry up a little bit. Yeah. And also I've talked a lot about these sunflowers in the last video. They're kind of cute, quite nice contrast to all the death and mayhem and destruction. Okay. We still don't see the Russians, and they don't see us. And now let's spread out the defense line. And we don't want them here. No. Because the reason I need to get rid of the fences is because else the AI will walk around here, and then they will definitely be in range of the enemy. And you can see also there's the embankment in this railroad. And they were actually this tall in this part of the world because there's so much water. So during winter, autumn, they would have to have it this elevated, or else the train tracks would sog down during like seasons with heavy rain and snow. Okay.
All right. The first question that will go was, when is the next demo coming out?
So I knew somebody would ask this. We don't have an answer right now about the next demo.
How much effect does the soldier temperament have on gameplay?
They will mainly be mainly affect the gameplay of the officers themselves. But all the soldiers are quite unique, so it still needs to we still need to find out how that will pan out. But the officers, they will have major effect on their men, because as I said, like they have this like Unnar. Because they have this like Trinity skills. That's one of our programmers. I forgot to tell everyone we had a stream. And this is the Trinity skills that the officer has: the leadership, the belief, and discipline. And these all trickle down into the men. And because he has a bad temper, he's less likely to lead the men, but his bad temper helps the men with the diligence and discipline. So they will work harder, but they will respect them maybe less. Okay, now they're all on holiday.
Have you thought about making like total war infantry lines that advances in skirmish order, maybe separately from assault?
Well, as we develop the game, there will be more like sophisticated ways on how to plan the attacks and such. So it may be in some form, but obviously quite different to Total War, because they are more obviously on medieval combat, but because there's quite a big difference. So I would say like to some degree yes, but we're not there yet.
Are you planning on adding in a cancel order after a trench is placed? I saw a few instances where a player would set a trench line, realized when some soldiers got there.
Yes, so basically there will be a cancel option, yes.
Sorry, it's hard to read the most recent YouTube live comments because there's the emote button is in the way for some reason.
The emote button.
Yeah, there's like a little heart.
Beautiful design.
Makes it really hard to read what the most recent message was.
Yep, so now I'm starting thinking how we design the game is it takes time to build and dig trenches, so I usually start with like making one in the middle, and then I'll make one over here, and then one over here, and we still have to take, well, we took the lager house, and slowly connect them to make one continuous trench line. And as you get closer to the enemy, like I've done tests when I've been digging down here, as close to the enemy as possible, then I usually go more into zigzag trenches. But now I'm kind of using what the terrain offers. So we have the lookout point. The machine gun is really, really good over here, but still quite exposed to enemy artillery. So I usually build the first line around the terrain itself. Next question.
In the demo, it sometimes felt like you could move up pretty fast. Is it easier to get bogged down in this version?
To move out.
Move up. So some people, he felt like it was too easy to advance. I'm pretty sure you're saying.
Then you're a very good player. No, it's still the same thing, but like with a bigger map, that means more terrain to cover, more. You have to cover the line, obviously, more diligently, so the enemy cannot sneak through. So that probably might be different, and obviously more control points. So I'm estimating to get through this map is maybe 20 hours, 10 to 20 hours, depending on playstyle.
Will there be multiplayer battles, like 1v1 and 2v2s?
Well, that can all depends on if we find commercial success with Diggin, because creating a multiplayer game is quite a different beast than to creating a single player one. But we do have ideas for it, and a lot of people have asked about the multiplayer version, and we'll definitely take a look at that if it makes sense, like from on a business level. But like, yeah, lots of ideas about multiplayer.
Yeah, the way I've heard it from our lead programmer is we're not doing multiplayer for this game, but if this is successful, we would probably we could possibly do a second one where it would have multiplayer, or an extension on this game where it have multiplayer. But because it is so separate from how this game is coded and built up, it would need to be like a whole separate thing.
Yes.
But it is a cool prospect, and like it's not that we hate multiplayer, but it's just this game hasn't been designed for multiplayer, so it will be single player.
Single player experience first, and if it makes sense, we'll go there.
Yes.
So you can see the green lit men. Those are our guards, so we almost have like a full line. But we can actually have a peek up here because there's a road, and the Russians hold the milk ramp. So we can have a look here, but let's not get too close because they will start firing during daytime.
Would it be able to sort out certain soldiers with special traits, like hunters, to form a unique section and train certain troops?
Well, yeah, that's like on our list to do, because all the soldiers have traits, and that's something, like I said, like we've been thinking about, yes, but like we don't have like complete designs for it yet.
Yeah, and I mean currently you can move soldiers, so
yes.
if you really want to make a soldier of all the hunters that you have, you can manually find who they are and then I think it's just a drag and drop.
Yeah, that is possible. So you want all the landowners in the same group, then you can like drag them over. So that is possible, yes.
Yes, you do have full customization over who is where, and then eventually, like, you know, you can make more specialization in that way. Then Da Vinci was agreeing with me that the heart reaction really gets in the way on the phone, which I really agree. It's really hard to read the most recent ones.
Oh look, people are agreeing with me.
Luckily. What a change. Does the AI enemy build and upgrade fortification, or are they pre-designed and set?
And they don't do that yet, but that's on our list. At the moment, basically, in level design, we place down the soldiers and they're... Ooh, what happened here? Good. Don't bunch up. No, yeah, that's on our list. But right on the moment, it's... What a mess. Great. Yeah, that's on our list. And also on our list is we are also teaching the AI now not to just go and hang out idle at the HQ, because then this might happen. We need to start putting up cemetery.
We'll take there's a bit of a slowdown on the questions, so we'll just play for now.
We also have ideas to both have like that the corpses of fallen men can be pulled into one like storage pile. And also mass graves, because this is like similar to what I said about the sleeping spots. This is like, it's not very sophisticated to do one each individually, and we have designs to change this. Oh, these poor guys. We lost them. Alright, there's a new day starting. And the idea with this demo is that we can start setting up a little trench network, trying to connect them. And how many are in the stream?
We are 21.
Alright, 21. My favorite number. We got the first one.
Can you in later fortify already pre-existing structures, like, I don't know, but build sandbags behind wooden fences?
Yes, you can actually do that. And like I've been playing with this lookout point, because like I said earlier, there was like a lot of battles that took place in the Eastern Front which were not with trenches. So they would build like these little redoubts and sandbags and make like little defensive positions out of the terrain, which I find really exciting about the Battle of Masuria. And almost feels almost like kind of Napoleonic. I've sometimes tried actually building a little sandbag fortress over here, and we have all kinds of ideas how I would like to take that further.
People are much better at this game than me. I have difficulty pushing enemy positions. Is there any great method I am missing for organizing effective attacks?
Well, the game is kind of designed from the scratch to that a lot of things can go wrong because it's a simulation. But ideally, when planning attacks, you would obviously like to have as many men as possible, ideally rested, and they've had food. And it kind of depends on like also placing down, like I've not been placing down the guard posts of like, if we're going to attack the enemy front line here, we don't know anything about it, so ideally we'd like to scout it, which means in World War I terms to send a few men over to die. So it's really, like, I've always found the most fascinating thing about World War I in this game is that they learned how to fight World War I with trial and error, and that kind of also is the same about the game. Like my favorite games I play, like Rimworld and Hearts of Iron, it's like a lot of trial and error of learning how to basically master it. So, but I think hopefully in the future will be a lot of videos and streamers that will play the game. And that's how I learned to play Rimworld and Hearts of Iron, for example. Okay. So now we started like with the first bit, and I usually build from the center, like I said, and then we connect from the right. And I really like these trains, because like we're always thinking like World War I level design, it's just a lot of flat stuff and trees and things. So putting something artificial like this embankment and the railroad in, I found really exciting. But it takes a while to play this game, so like we're slowly digging in, trying not to, well, we can actually make the men work harder because their fighting spirit is actually quite high.
Will there be in the game foreign armies, like for context, the Czechoslovakia legions, Polish legions, and other kind of nationalist military groups?
I mean, people often ask me, and I always think that the mod community will probably be quicker to do that than us, because we're like, obviously we're doing the main participants, but I'm quite excited about the Czech Legion and the Polish. So like, we have done all the systems, so adding factions is not going to be a major headache or anything. And but obviously I would like to have them all there, but at the moment we're focusing on like the main participants. But we'll definitely think about it in the future.
Maybe a paint tool to make zones would be nice, so that soldiers go specific ways to the front to not be under fire.
Yes, and we already have an early system of that we call the preferred route, so you can place down, I haven't researched it yet, it's over here. advanced orders. It's called, what is it called again? Field maneuvers, yes. So that means that's what they did in World War One. They would like make little paths so the soldiers would get to their place in the trenches, because obviously it's very easy to get lost, especially at nighttime. And yes, this system is already kind of working in the game, and it will of course be much beautiful in future updates.
When choosing a faction, you will be able to select special army to get certain buffs. It sounds as a statement, but it's meant as a question.
Yes, so we're trying to design that the armies are like feel different to play, not like as different as like Terrans and Zerg and StarCraft, but they will have like certain national abilities, certain national things. They will have different social backgrounds. They will have different social classes, and obviously, you know, should we add the mad minute for the British, or should the Germans be quicker at making fortifications, and should the French be better at melee? Like, this is stuff we're working on and researching. But obviously it's something that people are quite passionate about, which is the brilliant thing about having the server and the community, because we'll be needing a lot of input on that.
Yes, the community has been very helpful when I'm designing certain armies. I send in little like pictures of what I've made, and people are just like, that's not right. You need to redo that. And we're like, okay. It's very good to know that instead of just like pushing something for public consumption, and you know, like maybe if I didn't show anyone these armies, and then 2 years later, once people are playing, they're like, I paid for this and this is just so inaccurate. So the community is very helpful in just overall knowledge.
Yes, so thank you very much, because like I said, in the last week we were from Iceland, we only have like 6 trees and 10 flowers here, so we don't know how any of this looks really. So we look at a lot of photos, especially like as mentioned in the research for this map, trying to make it look and feel right, but still obviously make sense with our art direction.
So someone said, oh, so there's going to be mod support.
Of course. I mean, I wouldn't even make this game unless it had mod support. And that's what I think will make games like this fun. It's like you buy this game, but you turn it into your own thing. Who's shooting? What's happening? Because sometimes some of them, oh, this is a raider and he's depressive. Okay, that's not good. But he's a good shot, because Doomler, our captain, he's a career soldier, so he drills them.
Will there be cavalry, as in the Eastern Front Lancers saw combat?
Yeah, I have been asked about this, and I've never made any designs about cavalry for the game, mainly because of the nature of the systems and all the trench sticking. But there will be horses, so that does mean mod support. We cannot. There will definitely be somebody that will want to do the cavalry, but it's not on our list. But horse, carts, donkeys, pigeons, cats, rats, that's all there.
Are the reloads and fire rate accurate per armor?
We try to have them as accurate per the weapon itself. But if you're going to design that this army is better at shooting than the other, then obviously I would like to be able to just explain why. And you could like say that the BEF in early 1914 was one of the most heavily trained armies, but they were still a tiny little professional army, while France and Germany obviously conscripted millions of men, and apparently they were really good shots because they had been trained and had seen combat before. So I mean, that's like a whole discussion of like, are we going to go there? But the weapons, of course, will try to simulate to the best means of like the level or the Mauser. Or
yeah, we haven't currently implemented like that each weapon has its like own fire and stuff like that, but we are designing it so.
Well, we have the systems for it.
Oh, okay. Well, we're designing so each weapon will have its, you know, more accurate fire rate. It won't just all be copy pastes of each other.
Excuse me. Yes. So we're making headway. So should we attack the milk ramp, the front line, or the dead man's copse? I find the dead man's copse kind of.
Let them decide. You can zoom out and give them.
I like that one because it's kind of eerie. We thought about. Dominic on our team thought about we should call it Dead Man's Morass because it sounds morose and depressing. So, well, copse is nice. Morose, yeah. dead man's copes. Alright.
Someone said, I've noticed when the soldiers move, they run with their weapons on their back. Will this change? Doesn't look
Yes,
very lethal.
it will change. It will change when we have. We're still building. There's like a lot of work that goes into the soldiers themselves, and they are like, in video game development, they are very expensive on the budget for the GPU and CPU. So we've been doing a lot of optimization. And but they will have like, we will obviously, they will not always be walking around like on parade.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into like systems for animations and just things that make these little things look right. Like for example, like what you were mentioning, that they're holding the rifle when they're running, and then when they're maybe relaxing and not in attacking with
Yeah.
the head on the back. That's
They
like
should
its
not
own
be sleeping
system.
with the rifle on their back.
Yeah, but
because
that's definitely a good question. Yeah.
because that looks weird.
And then Jamie wanted to clarify with the fire rate and reload question. He was talking about, I was just talking about the 10-shot versus 3-shot rifles in combat.
Yes, we already can simulate the magazines of each rifle. The magazine capacity.
Maybe some generic buffs for and an option to choose corps like Marines, Canadian Expeditionary Force, Anzac, German Guard, Jaeger would also allow you to fight these to expand reliability.
Yes, so the idea we have here is that like when you start the game, we just thought like, because a lot of people have like all kinds of different ties or ideas about which kind of regiment or battalion they wanted to belong to, so it will be up to you to basically name it to your heart's content, and then we will do everything like to make it so you can like at least people can customize something to some degree, the uniforms and such, because that seems to be very important to people, and I get it completely. And we even have like a really simple one at the moment, so you can just call this one like Grenadiers. But yes, we'll take that all the way.
Yeah, currently we're just trying to get like the basics of every faction, make them look nice and make it all look spiff and span, and then there will be more customization, I imagine, and stuff.
So what should we attack? The dead man's copes, the enemy front line, or the milk rump? Because this is kind of what is the enemy front line essentially, these three. And they're all like, I wouldn't say lightly defended, but they don't have like deep trenches or anything like that. And they're nailing us. Alright. No request. I think I'll go for the dead man's copes, because that's kind of my favorite one.
Yeah, someone said dead men all the way.
Dead men all the way. Don't tell the soldiers that. We'll attack them at dawn.
Any plans for underground systems?
Yes. Tunneling, yes, of course. And dugouts, tunneling, and being able to dig tunnels, and then also being able to dig tunnels from basements of buildings to connect. That's all on our list. We made some really early prototypes of it, and it's very interesting.
Yeah,
And I think
it's really exciting, and we definitely want to get it in sooner than later, but the thing is we really need to make sure that the above ground fighting is good before we start going underground. It's always fun to just start with a feature, just to be as efficient as possible, then we'll have to wait a bit. But there's plans, there's already been visual prototypes, some tests here and there, and we want to get to it as soon as we can, but
who's shooting?
that will be when it will be.
Yes. Would not be a World War I game without it.
Oh yeah, great.
But like in obviously Eastern Front, there would probably be less of the digging. But now we almost have like a continuous trench line. It's going to be more tricky to continue it here because the Russians have like, they can see quite well, and they have like defenses on the milk rump.
Ooh, we have a compliment for you, Bolton.
No.
I love the sound design in this game.
Oh,
The
thank
sounds
you.
of artillery is great.
Thank you very much.
All the sound is Baldwin himself. will we get to choose our new recruits, or do you get what you get? Also, will there be long-term campaign mode with multiple maps in series?
So to the picking soldiers, the idea is that you basically belong to like this battalion, and there's like X amount of soldiers in the soldier pool, and when you have losses, you get new replacements, and you can't choose them. They are just, well, they're just young guys being sent to war. But you will be able to choose officers to a degree. And in some cases, you won't, to spice it up a little bit. So it's kind of what we're trying to simulate, so you don't have like all the men, all the best stuff, you know. It's makes it more of a emergent.
And then the second part of the question is, also, will there be long-term campaign modes with multiple maps in series?
We have ideas for like a campaign mode, which is like going from one sector to the next, all your surviving men and officers joining you, and that would be like different maps and stuff, and with different objectives. But we don't have any plans for campaigns with story and cutscenes and narrative and characters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All the characters in the game basically are made randomized.
Also, it would be a big undertaking, because we would have to make a campaign for each faction, and possibly multiple campaigns for each faction.
Or make multiple expansions with different campaigns and try to sell people that. That's what usually video game companies do. But I hope that answers the question. But yes, we have designs for that. But when we release in early access, the first version of the game will be this sandbox version you're watching right now, but with many different maps, with different parts of World War I, and also you can choose which faction you play and against which faction you would like to play. Speaking of, would people then like the idea of you could play as England against France, or is that like sacrilegious? What do people think?
I was about to ask you the exact same question.
No, you didn't.
Well, no one asked it. I just wanted to know. I'm curious.
But nobody's curious to know. I find it sacrilegious.
Well, I think they're. Yeah, I'm also wondering, like, would we allow, you know, historically inaccurate country fights and placement?
Yeah, but that's why it's good to check the pulse on what people think. Like, who would like to play as Germany against Austria-Hungary? Any takers?
Someone said fight the frogs. I'm not sure in what context, but fight the frogs.
Okay.
Question: when artillery hits, can it be automated that soldiers will find shelters themselves?
Yeah, that's on our list to make them feel more alive. And we already have like a little room in Unreal Engine when we're trying to make them feel more alive. Like at the moment they do like the simple animation, but the idea is that they will try to dodge and avoid being blown to bits.
Yeah, we're constantly working on trying to give them their own decisions, their own like reactions. Like you said, if an artillery goes somewhere close, you know, you would panic and go out of formation a bit. You know, you'd run a little bit to maybe grab some shelter, or at least take a few steps back, at least.
Oops.
Germany versus Austria would be interesting.
Yeah. So what do people think? Should we have it or not? Full freedom with choosing.
We'll let them take their time to answer if they want to. It feels like you have to cover a lot of area with a small amount of soldiers. Is it possible to get more soldiers later on?
Yes. So what we've been building and working on is to optimize the game, because like the biggest question is always like, is the game going to be more enjoyable with few men or with loads, or like hundreds of men? And at the moment we're playing with 64 men, and because a lot of people asked after the first demo if we could try making a much larger map, which this one is about 40% larger than the map in the demo. So yeah, that's like a different experience, right? Because that means that men are more like statistics, they're just numbers and you lose them. So it maybe feels more like the simulation of being a military battalion officer or commander during World War I. So it's, but we're doing actually good work at optimizing the game. So I said so. Nobody stopped me.
It is quite a balancing act because we have the 3D aspect that a lot of colonists don't have, which adds an extra load on any machine, and that we're going for, you know, not the most low poly art style. Like there are, I would say, medium complexity on the characters, and also we want to make them all feel alive. Like, of course we would have loved to probably have like a version or campaign that, you know, has like 200, 300 men that you have to manage in a chaos. But yeah, we're trying to optimize as much as we can while at the same time bringing them more and more to life. But, you know, the more complex the character is, it's always a bit heavier on the system.
Yeah, and it's a bit like I play a lot of Mountain Blade, and as soon as I got like a proper computer to play the game, then I would start like saying yes in the setting. Yes, I would like to have huge battles and stuff, because then, but not all people have like heavy machinery to run games, so we also have to take that into account. But I would like at least hundreds of men. I think that would be a solid representation. Yeah, solid
like
representation.
Some maps, like, we definitely want to have the mode where, like, you know, the special thing about, for example, RimWorld, the reason why you connect to your colonists is because there are so few of them. You know, it's so easy to remember all the names and all that. But when if you had like 300 colonists, it's a little bit more difficult. But it is fun to have the option to do it.
I still remember Bernd die Dummler. I remember him, but I don't remember all the other guys. So that was thinking like that in this game, the officers, so when in the future we'll have more officers, and we'll not have this British officer next to the German one, then these officers will be like the pawns. And they will have relationships, they might like each other, they might not like each other.
Someone answered a question here of like letting historically inaccurate factions in placement. Said sure. Soldier amount is, I think, as long as it can be expanded, it'd be great. My friend like having huge armies, but maybe starting with the small troops and gradually the maps or fights get bigger sometimes, even in battles. So yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with this. I think currently, at least, you know, I'm not very good at this game, despite having worked on it, you know.
I'm busy making the game.
Yeah. When there's too many stories, I get convinced. But a lot of the systems in this game are also designed so you're not guiding an individual soldier, you're more doing orders for the group, which does help with allowing it to be a bigger group.
You are God.
Yeah, well, you don't, like, you know, there are some games where like you have to very heavily manage each and every action of your character. Like the first like extreme example that pops in my mind is like Sims. Like you have to kind of, you know, make sure that they go to work properly and they get a job and all that.
All right.
Is it planned to construct turret guns like coastal artillery and that?
Not in the near future, but like, I mean, it's super exciting, the idea of like having to build, like imagine having to build like a train track into the map to have a railway cannon or something. That's exciting. And coastal guns, I mean, no, the French did it. They took all kinds of guns and coastal guns and even all the guns out of Verdun to put on the front. So yeah, when we have artillery on the map, we might look into that. Should we go and attack the Datman's Cove?
Yes, please.
This will be an absolute mess. I'm not gonna send everyone.
Is there a new Norman Baldwin? Do we have a Baldwin?
We will have to find either the German or French or the Russian version of Norman.
I apologize for this already answered, but will we be able to cancel or demolish Dig Trench?
Yes, you will be.
Cancel a demolished Dig Trench.
Kevin Kesselman. That's a pretty good one.
So what on the trenches? Will you be able to cancel?
Yes.
What about demolish
Yeah, I mean that's what they did, and let's see what happens. Okay, who do we have leaving? Okay.
have a question from Adam. Does this team miss the old QA intern? How is the new fluffy member doing?
Yeah. How's the witness protection doing, Herman? Are you still alive? All right. Now we miss you, Herman. Please come back to us. Oh, no.
Game music might be a bit loud, so maybe.
Yeah. But it's so sparse. You know. Who's doing the shooting? Man. It's not going well for us. When is the attack starting? That's not a great way to do it. And we're also putting in plans to make the attacks look much more realistic so they don't bunch up as much when they go over the top. But still as a video game. Okay. It's not going well. The Russians just come running out of the trenches. And no. This is definitely not going well. To put up this Russian machine gun, I think I'll have to look because I don't think these soldiers can reach it at the moment. Because they know how to climb, but it just looks super awkward. So are we getting through? What did I put it at? I put it at... Oh, okay, 75%. They will probably flee now. Here are the South Russian soldiers. And yep. Who did we lose? We lost Marcel. Nikiforov. So that didn't go well. But like I said, I hope like that we're trying to capture the spirit of Eastern Front, because like I said in the video, like a lot of video game developers that go for World War I kind of forget about the Eastern Front. And I think that's it benefits the game development a lot for digging that we go this early into Eastern Front, because like all these areas slowed down the men. The fact like how much you can dig there, and I think that's like made me super excited about the game of developing this new map. But this did not go well, and we'll just have to, well, we are the developers, so we can always cheat and get reinforcements. But the idea is that there would be like an UI for like a pool of men that it's not a finite pool, it just, you have like hundreds of soldiers. And as you ask for more, when you need more, then eventually you might run out.
What's our plan with, because currently resources and
Oh no, we
soldiers
lost
just-
Doomler.
Currently resources and soldiers just spawn out of thin air on a blanket.
Yes.
What is the plan for how they will arrive?
So that's why, as I mentioned, this unit pool, which is like a force of men in the rear outside of the battle map, and you can ask for more reinforcements, specialists, or more different weapons and stuff like that. But it's not a finite pool, so it's like you cannot just go nuts and just get all the men you want. What's going on? The Russians are not happy about the attack, and this is like the stuff we have here in HQ is just because the demo. I thought a lot of people might find it fun to spawn as many men and supplies as you wanted. But there will be a more sophisticated system of reinforcement, and also the means of how do you get them. Do you get them with command points, research? You will get maybe extra men. There will be different kinds of events. We're making a contextual event system, which is really cool. So there will be like where the notifications are, there will be all kinds of different events. There might be an event, no ammo for today, or we lost a new one again. Kevin Ristar has died. Where was he? And also, it will also talk about events in World War I, which I find really exciting because it helps with the immersion of like, your army will hear about that there was a failed offensive over there, and that means that all the men will lose morale for a couple of days because while recovering from that. Let's not make the waiter one, the business owner.
Do you plan on adding the 1913 CBA Burliette, greatest truck of all time, for logistics and troop reinforcements?
Yeah, they will be there eventually, all the like cars and stuff. And I find that actually also quite exciting, but obviously, of course, horse carts, wagons, and stuff like that.
Yeah, there has been an internal war between Baldwin wanting horses and both me as the artist and our lead programmer not wanting to do horses because they're very complex and hard to do.
Well,
right.
I'm sorry to tell you, there's even a horrible film called War Horse that proves that there were lots of horses in World War One, and I'm
Yes,
sure
yes.
the guests in the live chat can also verify that there were lots of horses in World War
Well,
One.
we're procrastinating on it a little bit currently, at least, because it's like I said, it's hard to do.
We'll
right.
get there.
But we have a horse model that is currently just on ice. You know, it's just sitting in storage.
Yeah, all in good time.
We also have pigeons and rats. Everything that we're not currently using.
Everyone is excited about the pigeons.
I'm most excited about the rats personally. I really liked
Yeah,
adding them as a particle and making them fill up the trenches.
I'm more excited about them being individual ones, but you know, we'll cross that bridge.
Will there be time periods selectable?
The general idea is like when the game has finished early access and has all the features, you will just be able to start a new map in the sandbox version. Choose your faction, then choose which year you start in the conflict. So if you choose 1914, you will start with the technology at the onset of the conflict. If you choose 1918, you'll have the gas and the masks and the airplanes and all the crazy war which was invented at that time. And I hope that answers the question.
How big is your team, and is there any way to help the development?
At the moment, we're 6 people, and yeah, you can help development, especially like contributing on Discord. If you have any specific talents or traits you'd like to tell us about, you can contact me and directly on the Discord. That's fine.
Yeah, currently, I think the only way to really help development is just, I guess, spread the word a little bit. And like I said, from time to time, I do definitely go on the Discord, like especially when I just made a new soldier, because it's often very hard to find accurate references. So I have to like kind of guess a lot of it. But I often go into the Discord after I made the soldier and ask people like, hey, is this accurate? Does this look right to you? So that's definitely a way you can help.
More guys.
But there's no stress on it. But yeah, we're a small team.
Let's send those 2 groups and let's try to check out the strength of the enemy front line. Oh yeah, maybe trying to get some artillery on them as well, if we have the points. Hope we have time.
Did you ever try the Izonzo game?
Yep, I played them all and they're fantastic.
I haven't personally played a lot of. I don't really play a lot of the kind of games, but I use them for reference. Very good for reference.
Yep, I don't play a lot of multiplayer games, but I played all of them because I'm a history buff, and I played Verdun the most. And but yeah, they're cool people.
I just got a huge book on World War I uniforms from Heimdall. I'll spam the server in a few days. That's great. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not good enough at like, keeping up with all the different references and stuff that is posted. I'm just going to like everything is appreciated. Yeah, getting pictures of uniforms is not difficult, but making sure that I have the right pictures
Where are you
because
going?
sometimes you'll think you have like the very Russian outfit that's like standard, and then you ask some people, hey, how does this standard Russian uniform look? And they're like, this is not standard. This is like a very specific guard unit that there's only like 10 people in, and you know, they only work in this area, and it's like, oh, oops.
We should buy you a uniform from World War I.
Which country?
I think Austria-Hungary.
They have very, yeah, they have very nice people.
Well, let's see how many are alive in the enemy front line.
Honestly, I think I would prefer most the start of the war French.
Oh, the red pantaloons.
Yeah, the red pantaloons
Yeah.
and the big red hats.
I'm a more fan of the Adrian.
And I honestly, I liked, after they put all the ribbon together on their back, I also liked how that looked. So big old backpack. I'm not also against the Russians and they use the, they cover over their shoulders.
This is not going well. So basically, I said so, no. So this kind of matches the design of the map. It's, like I said, it's difficult to get over the marshlands, but like I said, not very well defended, the front line. So
Well, I
this
have
is
you
a
guys here.
mess.
What's the favorite outfit? What's the best outfit? And like what country and what year?
In World War One context.
In World War One context, yes, of course. 1914 to 19. Like I said, I currently of the ones that I've made at least, I'm definitely favoriting the 1914 French, but I haven't gone through all the years yet, so that might change.
Yeah. Jolly, do you have your Adrian helmet on?
Favorite gun from Verdun, both of them. I did not go through Verdun.
Well, now I know what you'll be doing on the weekend. That was a mess.
Ooh, good question. Will we be able to upgrade uniform elements in the tech tree? Like get rid of the red pants or upgrading the helmets?
Well, mod support will have you covered in that department, and it's kind of our job to make it as well. It's not going to be super easy, you know. It's still modding, so it requires some effort from people. Oh no, they've frozen.
Well,
But it's still definitely high on our list.
well, I mean, currently it's already something we're working on, making sure that it's something that you have to manage. So it's a tech kind of tree thing. So once you've gone
This one's
a
wounded.
year into the war, it's 1915. You will unlock the tech for new uniforms, and you will be able to replace them. But that's of course a cost that's going to come on you as the leader, because it's not cheap to replace uniforms, and that's a logistics thing. But you will definitely be able to replace them as the years go by. So in that sense, you will be upgrading from year to year. But you could probably also, I imagine the system will be set up so you could finish the game with the 1914 outfits if you decide to push through it.
Let's do one last push.
If the terrain is rocky on the Italian front, how will the digging work?
Well,
Picks and explosives.
well, we'll be cutting through the rock like they did in the Alps and the Dolomites and all the mountains. It's kind of the same thing, but more mining, obviously, and takes way much longer time. Let's have a look at the milk ramp, and then we'll say it. But please bring any questions you've had them. Oh, I don't have enough command points. Oh, I hate it when the game works.
Apparently our QA intern has moved to Ireland.
Ireland.
He wishes everyone kind regards.
Well, I'm very happy it didn't move to the other place. So, Ireland is a cool place. So, go and have a Guinness. Okay, let's.
I expect the next time I speak to him that he will have a heavy Irish accent, or I will be very disappointed.
Yeah. Now we'll do one last attack. Try to check out the milk rump. See how we do, and then I think we'll call it today. Any questions? Please keep them coming. And also, speaking of the AI, I will be sharing videos of the AI test chamber we made. So we're trying to, where the men are just walking around and simulating being more human and.
Yes, leaning on walls.
Yes.
Eating, taking a smoke break.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is Jolly wearing his Adrian helmet?
I love the 1914 outfits for most of the armies, like the Highlanders and the French. How do you pronounce that in the last one?
The French
Poilu?
poilu. Koilu means bearded man, right?
How will MG teams work? Machine gunner teams work. How will machine gunners?
Ideally, you would like to have the MGs, obviously, a gunner, a loader, and an assistant. We have not reached that point yet, so at the moment we just have them, as you've seen, like as a single soldier. But that's something like we are aspiring to. Night attack on the milk ramp. Nope. Oh, this awesome.
How big are our army pieces in the game? Will we be able to different sizes on mortars, howitzers, etc. to work on the enemy lines?
So artillery is not in the game yet, but we want to basically feature as many of them as possible. But probably mortars will probably find their way sooner into the game than artillery because they have like different use case in on the trend sector. Okay, I think we're taking the milk run.
This is a good question that I'm not quite sure of what our stance is currently. Will there be town maps like Ypres? Also, will we need to deal with civilians?
Yes, we have had discussions about that of like, imagine like in the rear that there could be like NPCs which are like not playable but not like controllable by the player that could represent civilians or the Red Cross or anything like that. We have discussed that and also areas to train the men and that kind of stuff. Hey, we actually took the milk ramp, so okay. But I think we'll call it a day because oh no, it worked.
Wait. Is it possible that we get a suggestion chat in Discord? A lot of games have it, and it would be really cool to get some more ideas in. I'm pretty sure we have a suggestion chat in Discord, right?
We have the Ask the Devs.
Ask the devs, and then I think there's like one that is. I'm actually gonna check.
So there's not a big deal to add a channel. Oh no! So this is when AI fails. So now they're walking back from taking the milk ramp. They're walking back to sleep and they're taking the shortest route possible. And this is something like we as developers have to work on because...
Yeah, there's feature requests. We have a feature request that we have asked the devs.
Oh no.
So a lot of people have been doing like suggesting events, and that is also relevant to this. There's places where you can request stuff like this.
So that was an absolute mess. Yes, so I think that's all today. Any one last question?
Could shells not explode, so land and fail?
Yeah, like duds, yeah. I mean, that's something, it's interesting, especially like, but you have to think about game design wise, like what it adds. So basically, it's basically a dormant bomb, basically. Excuse me. And a dormant bomb that wouldn't have to be either blown up or dismantled. So that's something we've talked about.
Maybe a option on the sections, how much to travel for beds and other stuff. So how far you can go.
Yeah.
So you're not like, your guys aren't traveling across the map for to reach the bed.
Yes, we have designs for that. It's basically like placing down these posts and that this post belongs to this section and stuff like that. So they would ideally sleep where you want them because you don't want them to be sleeping in the rear and the enemy attacks at nighttime.
Here Jolly was adding on to his, could shells fail to explode? Also grenades, would grenades possibly fail to explode?
I don't know, because that's much more intimate and close, so I don't know, it's kind of annoying.
I would feel like I would be very annoyed if
because
I send out a grenade and it fails to explode.
Yeah, because it's different. Artillery barrage is maybe 4 to 20 shells landing, so one of them is dud, that's annoying. But like if you have a last ditch attempt to trying to take an enemy machine gun position and then the last surviving soldier throws a dud grenade, it's like, it's very annoying, but you know, maybe it could work.
I think this would be a good last question. I know you already answered it, but it's good that, you know, anyone who's now here who wasn't there, when will the next demo be?
When we know, you will know, but we don't have an answer right now. Yes, so thank you all very much for watching. The next thing we'll talk about and show you will be the AI test chamber, which is lots of fun. And I can't wait to see that in the game. How often did I say so? I think 6 times. I think that's pretty good. So thank you everyone that counted all the so's and so. And any questions? We're in the Discord. The suggestions, ask the devs, feature requests, and of course mod requests. So well, keep on going, and thank you very much for watching. And we
Bye-bye.
end on the song. Beautiful. Thank you all very much.